Hi guys, this is the final week of our Willows Avenue project. Everything that we're going to show you now would pretty much be the complete product. But we thought we'd do something a bit different this time, in that we'll go around and show you every single issue and every single problem that we've had with the project. It's with this sort of stuff, you just expect it. It's completely normal. It's just, as others have said, it's just problem solving. So anything that pops up, and they will pop up, you just work on it and you solve it. Okay, so I think Ashley's going to turn the camera around. Yeah.
Time for me to go behind the camera.
Yeah, and then ask some questions. So if we want to do a quick pan of the kitchen. So this is the kitchen now. Tenants are ready to move in. I think we've got 2 tenants who have already moved in, so we won't be able to show you their rooms. And then we've got 2 more girls coming, one in about half an hour, and one tomorrow, because she couldn't get here in time today. Right, so this is the kitchen, fully functioning now already. So let's start back. Let's start right from the beginning and work out, the issues we've had. The first one being that the flooring. So originally we got this quoted at 99,000, I think, for complete back to brick with 2 extensions. So it's a 4 meter here and a 2 meter there. When we started along the way, we realised actually that the flooring was all messed up. In fact, where the kitchen was originally over there, if you can remember from the previous videos, there was a kitchen over there. The flooring actually just completely fell through. So that costed a bit to put right. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it's just one of those things that we just had to sort out. This was where the original wall, I think, finished. So this was the reception room, and in there was the kitchen. We've actually knocked through the kitchen and then added another wall, so we were able to get 2 bedrooms out of it, I think. And then this was left. This senses of the dining part of the kitchen, and then we built this extension here. And this is now the kitchen. So this is sort of the extension at the back. And then I think originally it came up to here, I believe, and then we built out that way as well. This is the first time we've went for grey cabinets. They actually turned out to be quite nice. I think it worked out. What do you think?
We've had some really good feedback with the grey and sort of copper, so yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, so we originally got for copper or sort of rose. Is it rose copper or something?
Rose gold.
Rose gold, yeah. And white. And thought, okay, we'll put grey into the mix in terms of cabinets. That's worked out well. These tiles actually seem quite nice. Hopefully that will last, because after a while they will get a bit grotty. But with our properties, we have a weekly clean, so that should take care of that. These we bought from Wayfair. I think it worked out to be £72 for 2. Pretty good, pretty sturdy. These we got from
Dunelm, I think Dunelm, yeah.
Is it Din? Okay, Dunelm. And then these we actually got from B&M.
Yep.
That was from Amazon. B&M, IKEA, B&M, appliances online. Amazon. Is this B&M again?
B&M, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually quite difficult to find suitable bins, because you want 50 litre, but you want lids that are quite easy to automatically shut for a start, because tenants don't seem to want to shut bins, and if they don't, it won't trap in the smell. So when you're taking viewings and things like that, the prospective tenant would just be hit with a bit of a pong, which makes a terrible impression. So really, you want bins with lids automatically shut, but you don't want too many mechanisms in those bin lids, because they'll just break after a while. So those circular ones with the button, and they're actually pretty poor, because bringing them breaks pretty much guaranteed. These are cheap enough, they flip. They're big enough, sorry, they're wide enough at the front so that you can easily put rubbish in there. Some of them are quite narrow and you can't really put rubbish in, so as a result they'll just be dirt and grime everywhere. We'll leave this as it is now, but I think in about a few months, maybe a year, or maybe 6 months to maybe a year, when this starts to get a bit dirty and grimy, we'll probably either tile it or put some perspex along here, and that way it's just easier to clean over time.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for two cabinets, two more grey cabinets, which we're going to put along here. We've got some worktops upstairs with cabinets, and we thought this would be enough, but thinking about it, because this wall's empty anyway, I'd like to have extra storage. So that's why we've ordered two more, just in case. There are 3 fridges upstairs in the rooms, but we've also added 2 fridge freezers for everybody. Again, having good storage is very important. This is from IKEA, £200. We figured with the budget we were given, it would be good to have like a feature armchair or some sort of feature item in the room, and this normally catches the eye. And then actually pointed this out, so this was only £199, so it allowed us to play around with our budget a bit more. And it's actually really sturdy, because I used to have one of these when I was at uni. Easy to clean, because you just take this off, it's only £50, either replace it or wash it. The beauty is, you can actually just dress it with different cushions, and that will make it look a lot more expensive than it actually is. And it will protect the sofa as well, because most people sit on the cushions, or they'll tear the cushion. So that's quite good. That's from B&M. So we don't normally include desks with our properties, but we offer them. So for example, if a tenant asks for a desk, then we say absolutely, but we don't provide chairs. So we provide the desk only if they ask for them, because some people don't want desks, and then you just clutter up the room. If they do want a desk, then we'll just go to IKEA and get some, but then as a bit of a compromise, we'll say, okay, but you have to get the chair, because chairs get worn out, and they're a lot more expensive as well, and they're quite a personal thing. Nobody really wants to sit on somebody else's chair that's been worn out, you see. And they're quite expensive to get rid of. So what we've done is we've got extra tables for this one, and then we'll just put them in there for now until we see what tenants want tables after that, put it somewhere else.
Perfect. So, shall we talk about some of the challenges that we sort of faced in this sort of communal area?
Yeah.
First challenge, what would you say sort of was probably the biggest challenge, barring the floor?
Well, I think it's actually just trying to decide what we're doing with this space, because this one we originally was going to put a sofa or 2 sofas and a coffee table. But as you can see, the coffee table isn't really going to fit here, because you just hit your legs, hit your feet when you're trying to walk past to the boiler, or when you're doing the cleaning, it's just not going to work. So that was interesting.
Also, I think it's some of the smaller things that you sort of you overlook slightly, but it's something that we definitely need to consider. So. One of the things was where to put the fire blanket.
Yeah, so we in the end, so one of the issues was that because this opens out, we needed something to stop it from damaging the wall and damaging the cabinet, and we needed somewhere to hang the fire blanket, which is not too far from sort of the main risk areas. So we thought we'd actually put it here, because then we can just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And put it here, and that will protect the cabinet door and the wall. And also it's within the easy reach, should, unfortunately, if there's ever any fire-related issues.
This room was fairly straightforward in terms of...
I think it's because this was the extension.
Yeah.
It's just literally you just build it out, and that was it. Definitely glad we went with 2 of these in the end.
Get them in the shot.
Originally we were going to go for 1. But I think having 2 when the sun it's a bit too dark now. But in the morning, the sun will come through and it absolutely looks amazing.
Yeah.
And in the afternoon and as well. The garden, in the end, we had to use gravel for the sort of the middle bit, and then we cemented slabs the front bit. So there's a part where tenants can go out onto some sort of outdoor space with some furniture, and then we weren't sure what to do with the middle bit. I didn't want to use gravel because it attracts a lot of dirt, a lot of rubbish, but I couldn't work out an economical solution for it. We were going to go with artificial grass, but I think they get damaged quite easily, and I think they're not very good for the environment either. So yeah, went with gravel in the end, but I expect the maintenance to be quite annoying on that one. Okay, so yeah, let's just walk through property and see what else quite horribly got wrong.
Thank you.
So yeah, the flooring, carpets came in. They were absolutely fine. We actually went for the sort of exposed wall in them, painted white. Actually looks quite good now, yeah.
What was one of the reasons for going with the exposed brick? Because for me, it looks really, really nice and it's a great feature. But what was one of the sort of what were the driving factors behind it?
Because this hallway, so this corridor is quite narrow.
Yeah.
And I've been into a lot of properties whereby they've got a narrow corridor and they've just got walls like this, and it looks really sterile. It looks like you're in halls or one of those prefab flats that just have no character, no sort of personality. So it'll be a waste to cover this up. This gives it a lot of personality and a lot of character. I think that should also make it interesting as you walk down. It's the same reason we've added mirrors as well, just to make this place look a bit bigger than it actually is. Originally, we got the small mirrors, which you'll see upstairs.
Yeah.
And it didn't look great, and I thought, okay, maybe mirrors isn't going to work here. And then I bought a big mirror from home, which I actually took from another property that we bought, and tried it here. It's actually the one at the end, and it turns out it was actually the size, and its relationship to the space that made the difference. So then we went and got all the mirrors, and I think that works. And then we got some painting as well, and they're kind of paintings of buildings, which blends quite well with the brick walls. I think I actually found those, and they actually work really well. This one might have turned it other way, but it's fine as it is. It's being picky. That's a nice one. It just goes well with the brick wall. So this was the mirror I got from the other property. As well. Notice board, fire door, home thing. So this is interesting. You notice it's opening that way. So we actually made a bit of an error here. Made a bit of a mistake. Originally, when we put the door in, it's meant to open outwards, but there was a slight miscommunication, and we actually opened inwards, which meant that there'll be, because this door opens outwards, and that one opened in, there'll be a bit of an issue with people, things slamming against each other, and also if there was a fire, you couldn't escape, properly anyway. So we just changed the whole door frame, changed it around. Looks a bit weird, but with the time restraint, with tenants moving in and everything, we thought, well, it would have to do. It's going to be the best solution.
I think that's really important as well. Why we do a fire risk assessment, because it was something that sort of in the design phase we built it into to have a door that opens. When it came to actually installing, we ended up installing a door that opened inwards, and it's only when we walked around and started to do a FRA that we said, oh, this needs to be changed. Remember guys, compliance isn't all about sort of ticking boxes. It's about being functional as well.
And let's see if we can go outside. I've got socks on, but let's see if we can quickly go outside. So originally this was meant to be black at the front. Now it's white. I mean, it still looks fine. But if you see the front, and then repainted the front as well. And put the pack up. So everything looks new. I mean, the scaffolding was out there for quite some time, and it was a bit of a mess. So let's walk to room 2. Sorry, room 1. Yeah, so this is, I think, the smallest room in the property. We went for blinds in the end, and these actually turned out to be really well done, actually. There's a bit of weight there. There's no that chain thing in the middle, which normally gets tangled up. Blinds are a real nightmare in HMOs, mostly because things start going wrong down here. Things start tangling, they'll break. Basically too many moving parts. But this is actually really good, easy to clean, and you've got a bit of freedom down there. Also with bay windows, it's really difficult to get curtains going around there. So yeah, this is the reason why we wanted to try blinds. I think it actually worked out quite well.
The blinds are also fire resistant,
Ah.
which is another feature.
Yeah. And then we got obviously furniture. It's the usual furniture that we always use. Solid space underneath for suitcases. We asked the builder to put some shelves in because this is quite a small room. We wanted to maximise the space available, the use of the space available. So basically built some shelves. Used that's a mirror, that's quite nice. That's from B&M. Combi, so you've got your chest of drawer and your cupboard as well. It just means that, there's more storage in there. Ensuite, pretty standard, nice and functional, easy to clean, easy to maintain. So we made a conscious decision to make this space a bit larger because originally the room I think came up to here and it was quite narrow. We've knocked that through and turned this space into more of a feature just to make it feel more like a home rather than again narrow corridors and people living in their rooms. I think that worked out quite well. This mirror was actually in B&M. The thing about this sort of stuff is that in the shops, because B&M is a budget sort of store, it doesn't look that great, but when you take it home and you dress it with the right things, it makes it look a lot more expensive, and that's what you want. You want to maximise your effect and maximise make your money work for you. This one, okay, we weren't sure if there was enough space downstairs for 2 coffee tables because we didn't want to put a coffee table in the middle on the floor. We thought, okay, we'll get a side table so you can still put your book down, you can still put your coffee cup down. Turns out there wasn't enough space anyway, but that was fine because the backup plan was that we use it up here. And I think actually it worked out quite well as well. So yeah, I mean, for example, now tenants can go and walk past the mirror, have a look, check themselves out before they shoot off for the day, and put the keys or whatever as well. So we skipped room 1. We skipped room 3.
Room 3, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back down there.
Yeah.
Room 2 seconds, so we're not going to disturb the tenant. Yeah, so I think, so this was one of the rooms, and then this, actually, if you can remember, this was actually another room in the middle. What we've done is we've split that room into 2 and turned them to en-suites for the respective rooms. We've knocked this through and then put a door here, so that turning that into an ensuite for this room. It's actually a really large room. An interesting thing with this property, I pre-sold these rooms quite a long time before they were finished, and this room was actually $499. Looking at the time, I thought that was actually a really good price. Looking at it now, I think I could get $575 for it. That's just something that's it's something I'm keeping in mind for the future. Equally though, $499 is a great price. So these ones, because there's enough space, we put work counter and fridge. The girls asked for a full length mirror, so we thought we'll put one in. Something that isn't likely to break. Hopefully they won't break it. We'll have to ask the builder to actually fix that to the wall. These light shades seem to be we seem to be getting very good feedback from them. These are from now again. So our philosophy to design is nice carpets, standard colour, easy to replace. White walls, they're easy to clean, easy to maintain. If there's ever any issues, you just get the paint and just go over it again. When tenants move in, they'll have a lot of stuff. So if your walls are too busy, the room, no matter how big it is, it's just going to look very messy and very untidy. But it's mostly the maintenance thing. What we do then is, so we have a white blank canvas for the tenants to do whatever they want to do when to make it their home. But then we add little elements like the lampshade, which will give it a nice lighting effect. So you see a bit of shadow on the walls. That adds a bit of colour as well, a bit of interest. And then we go through around and add little features like these glossy lights, switches, a bit of colour on the walls. I think just nice and a classic look has always worked really well. We also get a lot of feedback for it. We're not imposing our style on anybody. Again, classic type of mirror. So this is the other ensuite that we split that room into two. This is the other ensuite. Again, this is a big room. So again, this was pre-sold quite a while ago for $550. $550. And looking back, I'm pretty sure I can get about $600, $650 for this. $550 is absolutely fine. It's no, I have no problem with that. But I'm looking back and I think actually we can probably get a bit better, or a bit more. So it's something to keep in mind. Obviously the girls got a really good price. They got a lot of value, which is great. Hopefully they'll stay for a long time. But once they leave, then the price will be, whatever I think is the market rate at the time. As long as it's, as long as we're offering value. Again, so black walls. But if you just it from that angle, you see two lampshades. So I think you might need to go all the way over there. See if you can get two of these shots in. I'm not sure if these cameras are showing this okay, but the light, it creates a lot of mood. I personally, always prefer to go with a more effeminate design because I think it attracts better tenants. I think you're more likely to attract the calmer types that this sort of design would appeal to. That's why I think it's been working so far. I could be completely wrong.
You said you pre-sold a couple of rooms too.
Yeah.
Sort of what advice would you have? Any little bits of advice for anybody that would want to pre-sell a room during the development stage?
Yeah. So only do it once the carpet's in. Really, you don't want to risk losing that lead by bringing them to a property that is nowhere near done. They have to visualize it. They have to be able to visualize it, and to be able to do that, you need carpets down because before that, the property is probably going to be too messy. That's the reality. Once the carpet's down, the carpet means that the wall's been done. It also means that during that period, you can probably get the furniture in at the same time as well. So if you start planning ahead for when the carpet's down, your furniture is probably going to be in 3 or 4 days afterwards. So if you start lining up the viewings then, it should be within sort of viewing condition. And then you can explain to prospective tenants what the property would be like. You can show them pictures of the other furniture, what it looks like, things like that. I personally don't like showing properties before they're done unless it's a brand new property. I know what the timeline is and I have absolute certainty or have more control over that timeline. So if I say you can move in on this date, then I'd like to say you can move in on this date. I don't want to say, okay, the landlord said you can move in this date and then realise that they can't because then they're a bit stuck. So that's why I don't like doing it for other people unless I know for sure that the project would be complete for that date. I think I'm going to put one in there. So we've just got a bit of a cubby. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't show that room.
Show them the little area here.
Yeah.
It's a nice little storage area again for tenants.
Yeah, I mean that room. That's actually it's quite an interesting one. That room is, I think, my personal view, was one of the most expensive rooms I've ever let. I think 675 is a standard double room with a fridge and an ensuite. And I thought, 675, that's quite good. And then I realised actually, and then I was able to let a similar room for 675 again. I thought, okay, maybe that's the new ceiling price now. So that was interesting. And then I posted on Facebook asking, what the maximum price is people are getting for these rooms. It's really interesting to see what you can achieve with the right design. Ultimately, it's basically space. The bigger the room, the better, the more you'll get in terms of rent. So this was originally the kitchen. I think if you look back to the very first video, it was grotty. This floor actually fell through. So what we did was, how did we put this up? This was the original wall then. Yeah, so it was from here to that here, which wasn't that big, and then we extended out. Originally, we were going to build a wardrobe there, and then put a chest of drawer in here. But then it turns out actually, if you can put a chest of drawer there, there's no reason to put a combi here instead. So we did, and that's absolutely fine because when these things open, it'll hide it. So you're not, it's dead space anyway. So that was quite a good result. We were able to really use this space. This allowed this space here to be used as well. Right now it's a desk. The reality is tenant will probably put the chest of drawer over there because you can still open. We will test that, and then probably put the desk over there. But right now this looks better for a viewing because it looks more spacious. The reality is probably the other way around when tenants move in terms of what's functional. Everything's actually quite warm as well. Sometimes they're not that warm, so that's quite good. Yeah, we purposely decided to put the ensuite between the bedroom and the kitchen because there's quite a lot of traffic over there, quite a lot of noise. So that's just to help buffer the noise between the sort of the high traffic areas and everywhere else. Another room's in there. Nothing that went wrong. The roof almost collapsed, which is nice. So we had to kind of redo that, added some more beams up there as well, and that added a bit onto the budget. But again, that's fine. It's one of those things. It's just problem solving. When it comes up, just ready for it, and it's just crack on really.
So you had the roof. There was an issue with the roof. What would you say was sort of the other biggest issue that you faced?
I think it was actually the roof.
Okay.
Because it's a structural thing, it could have quite a big effect on the whole project. But luckily, we were able to fix it pretty quickly. Right at the start, when we were doing all the building, the sort of the main structural building work, when I got a call from the builder, I was always a bit anxious because oh no, what's going to happen? Because you're at that stage, that's when I feel you're most at risk of things going wrong because they're structural. But nothing, it didn't fall apart. Well, the floor did fall apart, the roof did fall down, but it could have been worse. And I think as long as you cover your worst cases, you're okay.
Other than that, then, would you say you're sort of happy with the finished product?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this is actually the first time we've done something with this sort of design. We've done similar projects that uses these sort of design elements, but we've never put them together on this sort of scale before, or provided this sort of product. So we go back into the kitchen.
Yep.
So we've never, packaged it all up into this sort of product before, and actually I think it turned out to be really well. It's classic look, a bit, quite modern and spacious, and functional. I think for me, spacious and functional is actually quite important. Yeah. So hopefully that's been helpful. Was there anything that we also missed actually?
No, I think that's all. I mean, the last video will show all the snagging that we asked our builders to do. and they're probably 80%, 90% through that, so it's enough for tenants to move in. But yeah, other than that, I think we're really happy with the way it's turned out.
Yeah.
You know, the soft furnishings and the little touches, you know, things that we've added to sort of just enhance the appeal. But yeah,
I think it's just, you know, little bits and bobs really makes a house a home. You know, it's those glossy things. Okay, so this, for example, when I said we've got a lamp and just put it there on top and next to this, it just makes this space feel a bit more homely. I think that's really important. It's quite functional as well, because you've got your sort of lounge space here, then you've got your eating, hanging out space here, you've got your cooking. It feels very modern type of living. One more thing. Originally, we were going to put the TV up there, but then the neighbours said they can hear us, so we thought, okay, better move it over there instead. That's it, really. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so hopefully that's been helpful. Should we spin around and close up? Okay, well that's one. That's it. That's the final one. Bye. Thanks. See you guys soon. Bye.